Hello and welcome. You're watching To The Point. With new controversies or crises hitting the Aam Aadmi Party virtually every day, it's time to ask, has the new hope of Indian politics transformed into just another poor choice? And is the claim that the Aam Aadmi Party's moral stature is a cut above everyone else simply false? That's our debate in part 2. But first, has Jitan Ram Manjhi's decision to join the NDA strengthened its hand in Bihar or made little difference? And can the BJP overcome hints of disaffection in its own ranks and seat-sharing problems with its allies? In part 1, we examine the BJP's prospects in Bihar, a state which it badly wants to win. Joining me now to discuss the BJP's prospects in Bihar are BJP spokesperson Siddharth Singh, RJD spokesperson Manoj Jha, the Secretary of the Asian Development Research Institute Saibal Gupta, and the roving editor of The Telegraph and an expert on Bihar politics, Sankarshan Thakur. Sankarshan Thakur, Jitan Ram Manjhi has agreed to join the NDA without laying down any conditions. He's also accepted that the alliance will choose its chief minister after the elections. In your eyes, does this strengthen the BJP's hands or does it make meaningless little difference?
Well, Karan, I think somewhere between the two, this is aggregation for the NDA. Jitan Ram Manjhi is not nobody. He has been chief minister, chosen, handpicked chief minister of Nitish Kumar for a short while. But I think towards the end of his tenure, he was able to make, if I may use the word, enough nuisance of himself. And is seen to be of some value to the BJP, which is now against another alliance between Nitish and Lalu Yadav, which on the ground is better than the two of them fighting each other and against the BJP. I mean, a whole lot of things in Bihar at the moment are academic or moot, I would say, because the campaign is yet to take off.
Okay.
It is very, very difficult. I'll be fooling you if I'm going to tell you this is going to tilt the balance this way or that, because we really haven't seen the mood emerge on the ground at the moment.
Siddharth Singh, the truth is that Jitan Ram Manjhi is clearly a man looking for a home, and that's been the case from the day he began to struggle to actually save his chief ministership. Now, you've just heard Sankarshan Thakur say he doesn't believe it's going to make a huge difference. It's hard to say what difference at all his joining you will make. But the opposite might be true. He might actually put off some of your traditional core support base comprising Thakurs and Brahmins. Does that worry you? He may bring little to the table, but he might cost you traditional voters.
I don't think so. That's if we just go on the basis of the caste politics, which is being discussed now often in the media, which I personally feel is not going to be the case in Bihar election, because in last two elections, this bluff of the caste politics has been exposed by the voters, and they have gone for the development and good governance. Now, as far if I go on the basis of that debate itself, then the reality is that the BJP and JDU alliance, which one may say had a caste, but there was an upper caste also which belongs to BJP, and the Kurmi, the OBC also came together. So they didn't disturb any apple cart. They came together because that represented not a caste alliance, it represented a combination of good governance and development, and that is something which, in my opinion, is going to be dominant in Bihar, and certainly not a merger which turns into an alliance, and an alliance which starts from a word called defeat, because there is a fear of defeat against a formidable BJP. So those two parties, the JDU and RJD, then they decide to come because they have a fear of defeat.
There is, Manoj Jha, another way of looking at Jitan Ram Manjhi joining the NDA, and that is to say, your leader, Lalu Yadav, was very keen to lure him to your side. As recently as the 21st of May, Lalu was actually hoping Manjhi would join the RJD and Nitish Kumar. So now when he's decided to put in his lot with the NDA, can you deny this is prima facie a loss for you?
No, Karan. Let me first make it very clear that when Laluji made an appeal, he made an appeal not only to Jitan Ram Manjhi, but also to CPI, CPM, CPI-ML. In fact, he wanted to sketch a broader canvas of all political parties which have in their grains fighting for equity, fair share, as also fighting for certain core ideas which we so far have held very close to us. Number one, Karan. Number two, very quickly I will tell you. In every community or caste or the support group, there is a natural kind of affiliation or inclination. What I find very interesting and bizarre at times, that Jitan Ram Manjhi ji's support base, whatever little he has, shall be very uncomfortable with the traditional support base of BJP. And number three, I must tell you, speaking on issues of caste-based inequality, of issues of inequality in terms of access, opportunity, that is not caste-based politics.
Okay.
That is basically the way subalterns speak.
Except
and if you wish to have,
Mr. Jha,
if you wish to have,
we're not talking about caste-based politics. We're talking about whether Jitan Ram Manjhi joining the NDA gives them a decisive advantage and gives you a little bit of a loss. You're denying it, but let's stick to that subject. Let's not start going on to define caste-based politics, which is a different issue. Let me bring in Mr. Gupta. Mr. Gupta, the whole thing turns, I suppose, on this critical question. How much influence does Mr. Manjhi carry with extreme backward castes and with the Mahad Dalits? And I suppose what I'm asking is this: to what extent, by joining up with the BJP, can he weaken Nitish Kumar's hold on these groups? And to what extent can he swing their support partly or partially towards the BJP?
I will put it in a little bit in a different way. Jitan Ram Manjhi was a non-entity before he was installed as the Chief Minister. But during his short tenure, he could make a larger-than-life image about himself. I am not sure to what extent he will erode the base of Nitish Kumar. It is still premature. But it will definitely give legitimacy to BJP to work out a counter coalition of extreme, which Nitish Kumar had crafted in 2005 and which was used quite well in 2005, 2009 parliamentary election, 2010 election. But that got fractured in 2013 after BJP went out of that coalition.
Now it will be strengthened again?
No, there is a possibility that the counter coalition will be worked out by the BJP. Only Jitan Ram Manjhi will provide legitimacy to the counter coalition to some extent. Now, to what extent he will be able to bring vote, that is a matter of debate, because as Mr. Jha was mentioning, that the election campaign has not taken place. There are many things.
Let's put it like this. It is a credible first step that will strengthen the BJP. It can't weaken the BJP.
No, certainly. There is no doubt on that.
Let me, Siddharth Singh, take up with you the flip side of developments that are taking place as we talk. And this time it's to do with Shatrughan Sinha, whose disenchantment with Mr. Modi and perhaps with the new leadership of the BJP is no secret to anyone. Now, yesterday, he used the excuse of Lalu Prasad Yadav's birthday to call on him. Are you a little worried that behind that courtesy call and the birthday greetings, you might actually be weakening your links with critical leaders whose charisma you need during campaigning, and that weakening of link could damage your campaign?
Certainly not. I don't think one should be reading Mr. Shatrughan Sinha's visit of a birthday greeting into a political weakening or strengthening. It's a courtesy call, a birthday. They have been all Lohiites who have come together in BJP in Bihar politics, and he went because he has a relationship. As far as the ideologies are concerned, it doesn't remain with the Jungle Raj ideology. It remains with good governance ideology, where that is where Mr. Shatrughan Sinha stands. So I don't think BJP has anything to worry, and we are quite sure that he will be our one of the star campaigners in Bihar.
Sankarshan Thakur, I want to bring you in there. You heard the defiant answer from Siddharth Singh. Let me quote what Shatrughan Sinha actually said yesterday. He said, I share a personal relationship with Laluji. And then he added, he is a lovable man and a very popular leader in the country. How do you read that birthday greeting? And I suppose what I'm really asking is this: how significant is Shatrughan Sinha, A, in terms of influencing voters, and B, in terms of creating an image or an appeal for a party?
I don't read too much into it. I would agree with Siddharth Nath Singh there. You know, Shatrughan Sinha may be a charismatic campaigner. He is one. He's a superstar. He has a larger-than-life image. But do you know, in this wave election of 2014, which the BJP and its allies swept in Bihar, Shatrughan Sinha actually lost 50,000 of his own vote in Patna. You know, he returned to Parliament, to Lok Sabha, with a reduced victory margin. So I really wouldn't put too much, attach too much importance to him visiting. He's known to do this kind of things. You know, it is known that he's not very happy with the way he has been treated by the new government. He wanted a role that he hasn't got. And, you know, he to a large extent, being a big film star, he treats himself like a free agent. And he is known to have done this kind of thing even on the eve of earlier elections. Remember his famous sudden appearance at the house of Amar Singh before the 2009 elections, I think. So Shatrughan Sinha is known to have done these things. I wouldn't treat them with sort of too much political importance.
You know, Manoj, you've heard from Shankarshan Thakur that Shatrughan Sinha is a man of the moment who enjoys the publicity he gets, and no doubt Lalu Prasad Yadav would have enjoyed more than anyone else the potential mischief of that meeting. But the key question is this: is there a vein of discontent in the BJP that your leader believes he can tap to his benefit? Or is this just one of those media-pleasing photo opportunities and nothing more? Something that gets journalists excited but doesn't matter to voters at all.
Karan, I would agree with Siddharth ji and Sankarshan Bhai on this, that it was purely a courtesy meeting. He has been visiting him. It's just that ANI and other media channels, I mean, they captured the photo. What is very interesting that when you talk about, when we talk about present day BJP, I find a fundamental shift within the BJP, a rank and file, even of the BJP cadre in Bihar, they understand. It's a monochromatic BJP. It's a BJP which has unsettled the equation of the erstwhile BJP. So BJP has to fight on two fronts. One, us, and BJP has to fight the old BJP. That is where I believe that when say drawing Jitan Ram Manjhi, because every BJP leader in Bihar, they held a press conference in his entire 6-month tenure every day. They said this is bad, law and order is bad. What makes you draw him in? Making him close to your coalition tells us that all is not well with you. And finally, Karan, on Jungle Raj, whenever we raised question on Gujarat, people told us the government has been voted to power. Respect the mandate. I would expect everyone to respect the mandate for 3 consecutive terms in Bihar. We might have committed mistakes, but we have also ensured deepening of democracy.
Let me quickly, Mr. Jha, let me quickly bring it to Siddharth Nath Singh before I come to Mr. Gupta with me in studio. Do you accept that there is a vein of discontent that Lalu believes he can identify and perhaps tap to his benefit? That there are elements like Shatrughan Sinha who are discontent and looking for opportunities, perhaps only to make mischief but nothing more, but that can actually at the end of the day work against you? Do you accept that?
Well, a party or the parties coming together on the basis of fear of defeat, then looking for certain opportunities that there is a discontent in BJP where certainly it isn't, and then looking for, you know, why somebody who was with them, who was appointed by them as the chief minister now is going to be ex-chief minister, being a Mahadalit, joins BJP and finding faults in it without realizing that a Jungle Raj was equally criticized for their feudal cruelties by nobody but Nitish Kumar. So I think that it's a confused kind of an approach which Manoj is speaking on your channel and generally of this opportunistic alliance. But and what is basically missing is that where is good governance and development being spoken?
Absolutely, but I want to come back to the problems of the alliance rather to the polemics of good governance. Mr. Gupta, a second problem that the BJP-led NDA alliance could face is this question of seat sharing. Upendra Kushwaha and Ramvilas Paswan, if you go by today's Indian Express, have only got 3 seats admittedly and 6 seats at the Lok Sabha, but they're claiming, the paper says, 40 seats and 80 seats respectively at the assembly level. Will seat allocation be a problem, or do you think when the time comes, both Mr. Kushwaha and Mr. Paswan will quietly climb down?
No, I think it depends on the authority of the BJP and especially the authority of the Prime Minister. I think there is a contrasting situation, what was during the time of the parliamentary election and now. I think the authority has diminished, and after the debacle of BJP in Delhi, I think these smaller parties, now including Manjhi, they will clamour for more share.
And get more as well?
I think they will get more share than what BJP would have liked to give them.
So what you're suggesting to me is that after the defeat in Delhi, and with Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah's desperation to win Bihar, they will be forced to concede more seats to their allies than they would want to, and therefore their capacity to resist Kushwaha and to resist Paswan has diminished.
Yes, and there is a pattern to the whole move, that they have been doing some sort of a backward co-option in a very systematic manner. What they did in UP and Bihar, I think that process will continue, and co-opting Manjhi is part of that whole matrix.
Sankarshan Thakur, let me put it like this. If you were to consider the number of seats that Kushwaha and Paswan deserve on the basis of their Lok Sabha performance, it's still fairly sizable. 18 in one case, 36 in the other. On top of that, today's Hindu claims that in fact the BJP has agreed to give Manjhi's Hindustani Awam Morcha up to 30 seats. Taken together, that's a total of something like 84. Which means out of 243, the BJP is just left with 159. Is that sufficient for the BJP's ambitions? Because they must hope that they could actually get a majority in Patna on its own.
Firstly, Karan, I think all these numbers are very, very speculative. I don't think we know the kind of numbers that are being negotiated. If the numbers are being negotiated at all at this stage, I think both the BJP and its allies, and on the other side, the UPA alliance or the Janata Parivar alliance, I think everybody is holding their cards close. It is true that everybody will bargain hard, and I do agree that the BJP's allies at the moment are in a better position to bargain with the BJP than they were in 2014 during the Lok Sabha. And also, this is a provincial election. And provincial parties like Paswan's or Kushwaha's or now Mr. Manjhi's will demand a bigger share and probably get it too. But exact numbers, I am not sure they are accurate. But Karan, let me just flag this. There are going to be similar problems on the other side. Don't forget that Lalu Yadav and Nitish Kumar have been for the last 25 years the chief competing ambitions in Bihar.
I completely agree with you, except that I want to focus today on the BJP alliance's problems rather than the problems of the other side. But you're absolutely right when you say that at least when it comes to seat allocation, identical problems exist on both sides. Before I come to Siddharth Nath Singh, I want to flag with Mr. Jha another issue that Lalu ji has raised yesterday, and then maybe Mr. Siddharth Nath Singh can answer both together. Yesterday at his birthday celebration, perhaps because he was euphoric and he was celebrating his 68th, he suddenly began to taunt the BJP about whether they can find a chief ministerial candidate. And he said that it was a challenge for them to do so, and he would find and that they would find a big problem. Do you really believe the BJP has a problem? Or is that just something that Mr. Lalu Yadav said because it was his birthday and he could think of no better way of taunting the BJP?
Karan, actually, ideally speaking, we would have never wanted politics to move around personalities. It was the BJP which essentially made personality politics as a new kind of democratic politics. They said we can't come together, we came together. They said you can't have a leader, we gave them a leader. That is why Laluji, and knowing fully well that the BJP house in Bihar, every community, one leader has been promised that you will be the chief minister. The same brand what they followed in Haryana. I think that is the problem BJP is not able to resolve. And secondly, Karan, quickly I'll say, and we have not formed Janata Parivar just as an election fighting machine. We are trying to build an alternative politics, we are trying to give alternative nuance to politics.
All right.
So, I mean, the full Sankarshan or
I have to tell you one thing, Mr. Jha, the claim that Lalu Yadav represents an alternative to Indian politics is one that people will find hard to believe unless by alternative you're speaking very tongue-in-cheek, which I suspect you're not. But let me come to Siddharth Singh. I want to put both those issues to you. First of all, are you going to have problems with your allies on seat allocation, and suddenly do you find that your hand is weaker and maybe Mr. Kushwaha and Mr. Paswan sense that and will demand more than you're willing to give? Answer that first and then I'll ask you about Chief Minister candidates.
I don't think so. Well, every political party, particularly when it's a regional provincial elections, they have the right to demand the maximum, but it's a coalition strength and the people who lead the coalition in the discussions who come with maturity and settle to the winnabilities. So what would be the criteria? I think the ideal would be the winnability will be the criteria, and then the numbers will come. Okay. It will not be an arbitrary that you can come with certain numbers, that's what you wish, and then you will get it. So I don't think that will be a problem. The dangal won't be here, the dangal will be in the Janta Parivar.
Mr. Siddharth Singh, you're relying on the maturity of politicians to amicably sort out seat sharing. Maturity is sometimes a quality you know better than me politicians don't display when it comes to
well, we had shown when we went with JDU and BJP on a number of occasions.
What about maturity that's needed when you want people who are aspirants for the top job to say, I'll step aside in favor of the man Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah chooses? Do you think that maturity will be there? Will people be willing to step aside to accept one common man that Mr. Shah chooses or Mr. Modi chooses?
I don't think it will be Mr. Modi or Mr. Shah will be choosing. It will be collectively decided with the coalition and on the strength of the MLAs. But truly speaking, we have shown an example recently, not even a year has passed, be it Haryana, be it Maharashtra, be it even Jharkhand, where we have formed the government and without declaring a chief ministerial candidate. So I don't think that should be an issue for us.
All right, I'll let you have the last word. My thanks to all four of my guests for joining me. Time